to say on a bright Hawaiian Christmas day. That's
Oh, hi, Facebook folks. I'm sorry you had to catch me like this. I'm feeling so alone, so ignored. You know, it's like I just felt like I didn't have anybody to talk to for a minute. But then, you know what I realized? I realized I do have people to talk to. I have my Facebook folks. I have all of you to talk to about movies. I want to do a movie chat right now. And you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about a couple of movies like Christmas Vacation and that movie where Glenn Close has a crush on Michael Douglas and then she doesn't stop calling him. And then she calls him again because she loves him. And then she calls him again and again. And then she becomes obsessed with him and she has to have him. And then, you know what? I want to talk about this movie with somebody who knows the intricacies in and out. I want to talk to, you know who I want to talk to? Whatever happened to that girl from National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
You remember Ruby Sue? Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Her eyes aren't crossed anymore.
Ben's nervous because Christmas is almost here.
Nervous or excited?
Shitting bricks.
You shouldn't use that word.
Sorry. Shitting rocks.
Yeah, that's who I'm talking about. Whatever happened to that girl, Ruby Sue? Well, you know what? Let's find out. Ladies and gentlemen, Ellen Latson.
How's it going?
Hey, oh my God, this is actually happening. I am talking to Ruby Sue. Hello, Ellen, how are you?
Well, thanks, Stephen. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, this pandemic is almost at the end. You know, the world seems like it's starting to spin again. Life is starting to live again. Things are looking up. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm living in Philly, which I understand you are in as well.
Yes.
Cool. And I moved here about 8 months ago, so I'm still kind of getting to know it, but been sort of trapped in here with the pandemic. So looking forward to at some point, hopefully sooner than later, although I'm sort of pragmatic about the idea that it's probably going to be later, getting out there and exploring the city.
Okay.
Finally. But yeah, otherwise well, healthy and happy and doing great now.
And you have something really exciting going on right now. You are a guest on Stephen's Monday Trivia. How does that feel?
Amazing.
You are a guest on my Monday Trivia.
Thank you for gracing me with your presence.
I am so honored that you are here. So, I have to ask you the first thing of what I want to know about. What was your audition process like for Christmas Vacation?
Well, for Christmas Vacation, I had already gotten the part in Fatal Attraction, and the casting directors were the same, Risa Brayman, Now Garcia, and Billy Hopkins. And so I already had a relationship with them, and they knew me, and they wanted to bring me in to audition for Ruby Sue. It didn't mean that they were automatically going to give me the part, but they already had an interest in me and wanted me to vie for the role. And so I probably had about 2 or 3 auditions, you know, a couple of callbacks, and met with John Hughes and met with Jeremiah Chechik, and eventually got the part.
Okay. Now, in 1986, when Fatal Attraction was filmed, it came out in 87, I believe. It was filmed in 86 and 87. The Ellen cut for, your name was Ellen in Fatal Attraction, and you had a really short haircut. And then in Christmas Vacation, a year later, your hair was down to your waist. Were you wearing a wig as Ruby Sue?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
And that has been kind of controversy between my mother and me for almost 30 years now.
Whoops.
So she cut my hair when I was a kid. What's that?
Did I bring up the subject?
For her, not for me.
Oh, okay.
So She cut my hair when I was little, and the haircut that I had in Fatal Attraction was the cut that she'd given me. And so a couple of years later, I had wanted to grow my hair out, and she wanted it to be short. And so the kind of the compromise that we made was that she said, okay, I'm going to give you a bob. And so she cut my hair into what she considered to be a bob, you know, kind of looking like Mrs. Brady. But, and to this day, we still fight over whether it was a mullet or a bob. And it was a mullet. So it was short on top and long in the back, and it was hideous. It was terrible. So that's what I was donning underneath this crazy wig.
Okay. Okay. You are sitting at a table with, I don't think you realize how, well, you realize, but the audience does not realize how many legends are sitting at this table. You have not only Chevy Chase, but you have Mae Questel, who was the voice of Olive Oyl, the voice of Betty Boop. A lot of people do not know that. I knew who E.G. Marshall was because my father was a huge fan of those old radio shows.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
you know who E.G. Marshall was?
No, not at the time, no.
Oh, father was a big fan of, wait, here it comes. That turkey scene. Did you know who all of the legends were when you were sitting at that table?
Not really. I mean, not at that time. I knew obviously who Chevy Chase was and Beverly D'Angelo. I knew who Mae Questel was. They had to tell me. But
Okay.
else than that, you know, Doris Roberts and E.G. Marshall, and I didn't know who the rest of them were at that time.
Okay. And you knew who Juliette Lewis was. Have you seen Cape Fear?
You know, I've never actually seen it.
You never saw Cape Fear?
No.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I didn't. Juliette Lewis wasn't really anybody then in '89. She hadn't gotten, because I think that predated. It did predate Cape Fear.
You're right. It did predate Cape Fear. Yeah.
She hadn't made it big, and in fact, Juliette, I remember she turned 16 while we were filming, and I remember her telling me that her sort of like acting nemesis, or you know, her biggest competition as an actress during those times was Winona Ryder, and that there were a bunch of movies that she tried out for that Winona got the part for, including Beetlejuice.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Winona was the bigger name then, and Juliette was not yet famous.
Okay. And I saw, we all saw at the famous dinner scene that you were throwing marshmallows at Johnny Galecki. Was that improvised, or was that a part of the script?
That was improvised.
Okay.
So, you know, Jeremiah gave us the direction to just sort of be naughty and do something that was active, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Steph told me to do it. I honestly don't remember, but it wasn't part of the script. It was definitely an impromptu thing.
Okay. Can we talk about the famous sledding scene? You were standing on the hill right next to Chevy, and then there was Rusty and Audrey. And here is, as through a filmmaker's eye, breaking down that scene, here is how I think that played out. And can you tell me if I am wrong? So,
Okay.
So Chevy sits on top of the sled. He goes down the hill, cut, and then do they put him on a green screen? Is that it?
Yes. I mean, from a filming perspective, you know, like he goes on the sled and then he just kind of like off screen, as though he was going to be sliding down, he just sort of like crumbled down into it. He didn't really go anywhere.
Okay.
But it looked as though he did. And, you know, then they did the reaction shots of us kind of watching him go down. But yeah, then they put him on a green screen.
And then comes the stunt double.
Mm-hmm.
But crashing into the barn. You see, ignorance is bliss. When we are kids watching that, we're like, oh my God, how did they do that? And now, oh, it's that simple? For filming location stalkers like myself, is this true? Was National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, was that house filmed on the same street as the entire Lethal Weapon series? Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so that was a real house that was built on the Warner Brothers lot. People do live in that house, or that is just a fake. So the houses on the Warner Brothers lot, those are real house exteriors, but just nothing. How does that work?
It's not actually on the Warner Brothers lot. It is another property that is nearby in Burbank. It's a they call it a ranch, but it's a fake neighborhood, and they've filmed tons of movies there. Like The Burbs was filmed in that neighborhood.
I didn't know that.
And so, in fact, like the pool that they used for the dream sequence, fantasy sequence, was across the street from the house.
Okay.
So like when they show the shot of Randy Quaid unloading the RV into the gutter, you can kind of see some hedges across the street from him, and on the other side of those hedges was the pool.
Okay.
So the houses were all just shells; they were empty.
Okay.
And the interior shots were on the Warner Brothers lot.
Okay.
In studios.
Now let's get on to it. Fatal Attraction. The main thing, the main question, did you know what type of movie you were filming?
No.
We all know this famous scene. Can you talk about the filming process of going on the roller coaster with Glenn Close? So this was Coney Island, right?
No. This
was
Rye
not Coney
Playland.
Island.
Nope, it's Rye Playland in Westchester County. So it's an amusement park that still exists. I had been going there because I grew up in Westchester County in a town called Larchmont, which is about 10 minutes away from Rye. And my grandparents actually lived in Rye. So they filmed this at Rye Playland. It's right on the Long Island Sound. And they actually, they did it in the fall. So that was when the park was closed. So they opened it up for us and had to bring in extras to make it seem like the park was open. And actually, a little tidbit, in the movie Big, where the Zoltar machine is, in the end, they filmed it on the boardwalk at Rye Playland as well.
Oh, okay.
So So this was filmed at Rye Playland, and this is the Dragon Coaster, which was they've done a lot of work to it since then, but it's an old wooden roller coaster, and it was the largest roller coaster in the park at the time. And me being 6 years old, I was actually too small to ride it in real life. Mm-hmm. And so they had to strap me in and make it safe for me to ride it. But I was thrilled because I loved roller coasters when I was a kid. Nothing scared me. And so as the story goes, so filming this, right, we're in the front car and the camera is affixed to the front, and there is obviously a microphone and everything. And so we do the first round, and I'm stoked because I'd always wanted to ride this roller coaster and I had never been able to. And so finally I was like, yeah, I get to ride the Dragon Coaster. And I was just having the time of my life. And it comes back around and Adrian Lyne says, Ellen, darling, you're supposed to be scared. You're not having a good time. You've got to be scared. So make sure that when we go around again, you act scared. And so I'm like, all right, I'm not scared, but whatever. And so it takes a couple of times, and I think that the first or second time after that first round, we're going, and I don't realize that there's a microphone there, and so he's like, okay, you have to scream, you have to be scared and pretend that you're scared, and you just got to scream. And so I didn't realize there was the microphone, and so I go. Because I wasn't scared and I didn't want to scream, and so we come back around. He's like, Ellen, darling, we can hear you. You've got to scream. You've got to pretend that you're scared. And so finally I kind of got the picture. But I think we did about 12 times in a row going around, which was thrilling for me because I loved it. But yeah, it took me a while to actually get to the point where I looked scared. And so I don't know. Do you think I look scared?
No, you looked like you were having a blast. That was why, I love those juxtaposition shots of you having a blast, and then your mother is getting hit by a car.
Right.
you're getting kidnapped. We think that Alex wants to kill you. He loves the oblivious shots of the innocent character. Yeah.
Well, he originally wanted me to be scared, so I guess it sort of turned out in his favor in the end.
Can you tell a Glenn Close story?
Honestly, I didn't have a whole lot of time with her. It was really just, like on, at Playland. And then there were, like a couple of shots that they did of us in the car. But here's one that I can tell you, which is that when she goes to drop me off,
Mm-hmm.
in the original script, first of all, my character's name was Alice, but they changed it to Ellen because it was my first role, and Ann Archer thought that maybe I might react better to my own name. So they changed my name to Ellen. And then also in the original script, Alice had 2 long braids and I had short hair. And so the part where Alex drops me off
And you
she
kiss her
goes,
goodbye.
right. In the original script, I was supposed to lean in and she was supposed to cut one of the braids off.
What?
Yeah, so I didn't have braids. So they fashioned a wig on me and we did a rehearsal where I leaned in and she goes to cut like a chunk of my hair out and I freaked the fuck out. I was not having any of that. It was horrible. It was like awful. It was a 6-year-old just like being grabbed. It was that's a violent act.
Yeah.
And so after the rehearsal, they were like, okay, we can't, like, this isn't going to happen. And so I sort of course corrected. And again, serendipitously in the end, it's so much more creepy that she doesn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I give her a kiss and she lets me go.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, like I said, very sort of serendipitous that it worked out that way.
While filming Fatal Attraction as a 6-year-old girl, you're thinking that you're just filming a fun roller coaster movie. You're thinking, you have no idea who Michael Douglas and Ann Archer are, and you're just filming a movie. But when you finally saw the final product, how old were you when you saw Fatal Attraction in its entirety?
In its entirety, I probably was like 10 or 11, I'd say.
Were you like, oh my God, this is what I filmed? What did you think? How did you know that you were not filming a psychological thriller? And then when you finally found out the movie that you were in, what did you say to it?
I think it was pretty fucked up, but I thought it was well done, and I think it definitely put a lot of it into context.
Mm-hmm.
When the movie premiered, I wasn't able to go in at all. I had to wait in the limo outside for everybody to come out. But yeah, I thought it was a great movie, and it definitely kind of brought it full circle for me.
We are not going to let this interview go by without talking about the rabbit scene. You saw that the rabbit was not in the cage, and you had to scream, "Daddy!"
Whitey's gone. So no, I had no idea that, again, I'm 6 years old. I couldn't even read at that point. So, I didn't read the script. I had to have my parents sort of explain to me in the best way that they could, in the way that a 6-year-old could wrap their mind around what was happening in the movie. My parents had divorced a couple of years earlier, so as far as the idea of Ann Archer and Michael Douglas and what was happening in their dynamic, I was kind of able to grasp that. But they didn't have to tell me that Michael Douglas fucks Glenn Close in an elevator, or that she tries to kill her. Although I was around for some of the filming of the bathtub scene, but
you saw her with the knife stabbing at her own white dress.
So
you watched Glenn Close stabbing her own self?
No, not. Okay. There was it was like an old church or something that they were filming inside of for the tub scenes themselves, because they had to build plexiglass tubs to see what was happening inside. And so there was some that struggling scene that I watched because I was around for that, and I wanted to play with the retractable knife. And Adrian, I would say to Adrian, "Oh, I want to play with the knife," and he'd, ask one of the ADs to, get on the walkie-talkie and be like, can we get the knife? Ellen Darling would like the knife. Can we get the knife, please? And, but I was around for that. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't necessary to really explain the ins and outs of the psychological thriller to me. You know, it was just like the scenes that I was involved in and whatever. And, you know, as a 6-year-old, it wasn't really that important for me to understand the entire context of the movie. But okay, so with the rabbit scene, no, I didn't know that the rabbit was gone out of the hutch because it was being boiled in the kitchen. I had no idea about that. I just, you know, my motivation was that I loved my bunny and I'm running to go see it and it's not there. And so of course I'm upset, you know, Whitey's gone. So that was kind of how that went down.
Okay. Well, Ellen, I have to say thank you so much for being a guest on my Monday Trivia. We are about at time, so I'm gonna end this interview. Thank you for joining me today on. Oh wait, did it end? It ended. All right. Thank you for joining me on Steven's Monday Trivia.
Hello? I'm not gonna be ignored, Steven.
You can still see me? Oh shit!
Merry Christmas! Dinner with Paul! I'm not gonna be ignored, Dad.
Cut this shit, will you?
Cheap, lying, no good, rotten, fork-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is! Hallelujah! Holy shit! Bingo.